Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. In this lecture, we will discuss about the National Policy on Biofuels 2018. You can find the YouTube link of my previous lectures on my Facebook page, and also the PDF is available on my Facebook page. First of all, let us see what is a biofuel. By definition, biofuel is fuel derived immediately from living matter. And how is biofuel different from that of fossil fuels? Biofuels are produced through contemporary biological process. What are the examples of biological process like agriculture, anaerobic digestion, etc.? Whereas the fossil fuels are produced by geological process. So that is a major difference between biofuels and fossil fuels. Now let us see what is the background at which this policy has been initiated. In order to promote the biofuels in the country, National Policy on Biofuels was made by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy in the year 2009. So a national policy was already made in the year 2009 in order to promote the usage of biofuels in the country. And secondly, if we see the global picture, many countries are giving attention to the usage of biofuels in the last decade especially. So it is imperative to keep up with the pace of development in the field of biofuels. Our country also has adopted this policy. And thirdly, if we look at our country, there is much strategic importance for the use of biofuels, because this goes well with the ongoing initiatives of the government like Make in India program, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, skill development, etc. Because production of biofuels in the country will promote Make in India. It will provide skills to the youth, and again this is a clean fuel, so it will promote Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So all these flagship programs of the government can be promoted through the promotion of the usage of biofuels. And again, another target of the government is to double the farmers' income. So by using biofuels, the farmers' income can be doubled or increased. How this happens, we will see later in this module when I explain how it is going to benefit the farmers. It will reduce the import dependency of our country, because more the biofuels, there will be lesser dependency on imports for fuel requirements. It will also create employment opportunities. So all this point we will see in detail later in this video. Biofuels are basically made out of agricultural waste, food waste, etc. So this waste can be effectively created into wealth creation, or it can be converted into productive resources. So waste to wealth generation or creation can be done through the promotion of biofuels. And one challenge that this biofuels industry faces the non-availability of domestic feedstock. So all these points we will discuss later in this chapter. So I was just giving you a background at which this national policy on biofuels was made. Now coming to the salient features of the national policy. The National Policy on Biofuels 2018, this categorizes biofuels into two categories. The first one is basic biofuels and the second one is advanced biofuels. So what is basic biofuels and what is advanced biofuels? This basic biofuels refers to first generation bioethanol and biodiesel. So this is first generation. We can say 1G. And coming to advanced biofuels, it refers to 2G ethanol, municipal solid waste, 3G biofuels, bio-CNG, etc. So examples are 2G ethanol, municipal solid waste or MSW, 3G biofuels, bio-CNG, compressed natural gas. So these are the examples of advanced biofuels, and there is a categorization done in this policy, that is basic biofuels and advanced biofuels. And what is the purpose of this categorization? This is done in order to enable the extension of appropriate financial and fiscal initiatives under each category. So basic biofuels will be requiring some different kind of financial support or fiscal incentives, but when it comes to advanced biofuels, the financial requirements or the fiscal incentives should be different. So that is the reason it has been categorized into advanced and basic biofuels. And secondly, the policy expands the scope of raw material for ethanol production, which means that more raw materials are added into the category for the ethanol production. Which all raw materials are now allowed? Sugarcane juice, sugar containing materials like sugar beet, sugar sorghum, starch containing materials. Example is corn, cassava, damaged food grains like wheat, broken rice, rotten potatoes. All these are included under the raw material that can be used in order to produce the ethanol. Ethanol is a biofuel. In some competitive exams, you can find some questions like which among the following are used as raw materials for ethanol production, and certain choices will be given. You need to pick the right choices. So what all are included under the raw materials that can be used for ethanol production? Sugarcane juice, sugar beet, sugar sorghum, starch containing materials. So example of starch containing material is corn, cassava, etc., and damaged food grains, rotten potatoes, etc. So all these are added. Again, National Biofuel Coordination Committee has approved the use of surplus food grains. If in a particular year there has been surplus production, what will happen? If there is surplus production, it means that supply has increased over the demand. So what happens in such a situation is that the price will go down. So there will be price deficiency, and this will affect the income of the farmers. Farmers will get lesser price because the supply is more than the demand. So this can lead the farmers into distress. So this is one major problem of the farmers. So in India, farmers have a paradox of poverty. So first condition is that when there is surplus production, it creates aggregate supply more than the aggregate demand in the economy, and under this condition the price will go down and farmers will get lesser income. And another condition is that lesser production due to factors like less rainfall, less irrigation facilities, natural calamities, etc. So in the case of less production also, what happens is that because the produce is less, the farmers will get lesser income. So here also farmers are in distress. So in a situation where there is surplus production, what can be done? This surplus food grains can be used for the production of ethanol. So an approval has been given from the National Biofuel Coordination Committee. When the surplus food grains are used for the production of ethanol, what will happen? Farmers will not face a problem of price deficiency. They will get enough price for their food grains. So this can increase the income of the farmers, or either way we can say that this will not put the farmers under distress if there is surplus production in the economy. Next, under the national policy, thrust has been given on advanced biofuels. So we already said that there are two categories. One is basic and the second one is advanced. So more emphasis is given for advanced biofuels. So because more focus is given for this advanced biofuels, first of all, a viability gap funding has been made. Under the viability gap funding scheme, 2G ethanol biorefineries will get an incentive of 5,000 crore rupees in 6 years. And again, they will get some tax incentives. And also, there will be higher purchase price compared to 1G biofuels. Under the national policy, supply chain mechanisms are developed for biodiesel production from non-edible oil seeds, used cooking oil, short gestation crops, etc. So, supply chain mechanisms means that the raw materials for this production of biofuel, there is proper mechanism in order to collect these raw materials and make them available in the production area. Proper supply chain mechanisms are also recommended under this policy. Then next is regarding the roles and responsibilities. The roles and responsibilities of all concerned ministries and also departments, they are clearly defined in the policy. So when the roles and responsibilities are clearly defined, it can synergize the efforts. There will be no confusion regarding the roles and responsibilities of any ministry or department. So this will help in effectiveness or efficiency. So these are the features of the National Policy on Biofuels 2018. Now let us see what are the expected benefits of this national policy on biofuels. First of all, it will reduce the import dependency. So we know that we are highly dependent on imports for our fuel consumption or fuel requirements. So high dependency on imports has multiple effects on the economy. First of all, when the value of imports is more than the value of exports, what will happen? There will be an unfavorable balance of trade. So this unfavorable balance of trade can lead an economy into a forex crisis, because when we trade internationally, we are paying in terms of forex. So when imports are more, means we are paying forex more than what is we are receiving through the exports. So there will be forex crisis in the economy. And secondly, the price of the imports are not under our control. So when the price increases, what happens is that the economy is badly affected. It will affect all the sectors of the economy because this fuel is used as raw material in almost every sector in the economy. So the prices will increase and this will lead to inflation in the economy. So the import dependency on fuels is highly risky for an economy. So with the more production of biofuels, this can reduce the import dependency. It will save the forex situation of our country. So it will also bring price stability into the economy. Also, it can bring inflation under control. Secondly, this creates a cleaner environment because with the more usage of biofuels, the carbon dioxide or CO2 emissions will come down. Also, the greenhouse gas emissions will come down. What are the examples of greenhouse gases? Water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone. These are all examples of greenhouse gases. So, greenhouse gas emissions and CO2 emissions will come down because the biofuels are cleaner fuels. Thirdly, it has certain health benefits as well. First of all, because these are cleaner gases, it reduces the pollution, and pollution itself can have serious health hazards. So this will reduce pollution, which means health hazards due to pollution will come down. Secondly, we have seen that used cooking oil is a raw material for biofuel production. So the reuse of cooking oil causes serious health hazards. So if this cooking oil once used, if they are used as raw material for biofuel production, the reuse of cooking oil will come down and thereby the health hazards due to this will come down. Diseases will come down. So this is a potential feedstock for biodiesel. Next is the municipal solid waste management. So in the production of biofuel, solid waste act as a raw material. So when this waste act as a raw material, we can say that this waste materials can be effectively used in order to produce biofuels. So this can convert municipal solid waste into fuel, which is good for the economy. So we can say that biofuel production is an effective method of waste management also. Next, it will promote industrial investment in rural areas because the oil marketing companies increasing the production of biofuels will also increase the investment in the rural areas because the oil marketing companies, they will have to set up biorefineries. So biorefineries have to be set up, and this refineries cannot be in the urban areas because this requires a lot of land. So they will find this land in the rural areas. So this biorefineries will be set up in the rural areas, and because of this there will be a lot of investment going to the rural areas of the country. So infrastructural development will happen because this fuel has to be transported, logistics has to be done, warehousing has to be done. So there will be a lot of investment, especially in infrastructure. And when the production of biofuels increases, biorefineries will have to be set up, plant operations has to be done, so supply chain must be properly managed. So all this will contribute to employment generation in the economy. So when a new sector is developing, the sector will come up with a lot of employment opportunities. So jobs in plant operations, village level entrepreneurs, supply chain management, all this will come in association with the biofuel production. So this employment requires certain skills also. So skill development will also take place on the other hand. So skill development plus employment generation, this will come as an outcome of increasing the biofuel production. Biofuel production will also provide an additional income to the farmers. Biofuels, as we said, they are produced out of agricultural residues, agricultural waste, etc. So if there is no option of giving it for biofuel production, what the farmers will do with this waste? Usually they burn it. So what will happen? There will be no additional source of income if they burn it. Burning will not provide any income. Secondly, this will also contribute to pollution in the environment. So agricultural waste or residues has a negative impact if they are not properly utilized. And if a market is properly developed, this agricultural residues and waste can be collected and this can be used in the production of biofuels. So this will generate some kind of income for the farmers. And secondly, we said that during surplus production, the farmers are at a risk of getting lesser prices for their produce. Why? Because when the aggregate supply is more than the aggregate demand, the prices in the economy will fall. But under biofuel production, this surplus food grains can be used in the production of biofuels. So this will not affect the supply demand in the market. So when the surplus is given for biofuel production, the income of the farmers will not be affected in a way that they will get decent prices for their commodities. So these are the two advantages the farmers will be getting from increase in the biofuel production. One is income for the agricultural residues and waste, and second one is price stabilization even at the time of surplus production. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page. Also, the previous current affair lectures and the economic survey series lectures are available on my Facebook page. Thank you.